this week's edition of the Coaches Preview Show. We have the Battle of 840 this week. It's week 1, Tennessee high school football. What better way to kick off the season between you two guys, big-time rivals here, Fairview, Page, Coach Chris Hughes, Charles Rathbone. Thank you for coming today. Now, I went back and did some history. Coach Rathbone, you are going into your 7th year as head coach at Page. Coach Hughes, you're in your 11th year. Now, Coach Hughes, in your 11 years in the 840 game, you're 5-6. You're a game below 500 in the 840 matchup. Coach Rathbone, you're 3-3. You look at this head-to-head, you're 3-3 with a point total of 130 to 114 in favor of Page. What's going to give this year, man? Who's going to break the cycle? The cycle, 2017, Page won 28-14. 16, Fairview won 13-10. 15, Page won 38-7. 14, Fairview won. It's alternated back and forth. If it holds true, seems to me, Fairview, you're going to win this game.
It's my turn.
Do you want to go ahead and just claim this victory and get out of here?
No. I mean, we're playing a 5A team on new turf. They're opening night. I heard all their alumni coming back. I talked to Chris Polk, some of the old guys coming in. Big celebration. Shane Pantal, the principal, is going to have it rocking over there. We're just happy to be able to play on that nice field in a nice environment.
It is fun that you're getting turf, Coach Rathbone. I know that you really appreciate that and going to enjoy it. But this game's a cool game. Mm-hmm. Great atmosphere, man. One of the best atmospheres we have across the county. I know it's hard for you to believe, but it is. This 840 game means a lot to both schools. Talk about that for just a moment, Coach Rathbone, what it means to your culture of your school, to you, to Dr. Pantal, and the entire student body.
Well, you know, it does mean a lot to both programs. I know Coach Hughes before said, you know, if he can win one game, it would be this game. But I think if you look throughout the history of our program, especially the last 6 years, this game really doesn't dictate what we're going to do for the rest of the season. I mean, you know, Fairview went to the semifinals last year. We went to the second round of the playoffs the year before when we got beat. And, you know, so ultimately our job is to tell these kids, it's an important game. You love playing rivals, but it is what it is. It's the first game, you know, and I think both of us want to win. I know our players want to win, and we're going to do everything we can to win within legalities, or at least I'll stay legal.
I'm not vouching
great
for that.
stock coach answer. Now, well, Coach Hughes, let's see if you can top that stock answer.
It's a measuring stick for both of our teams. It's like who is going to have a really. So he may say it doesn't, but when we lose to Page, it affects us in a real negative way. And when I'm sure when they lose, it affects them.
I'm going to cut you off for just a moment. I do. I go back to, in the 5 years I've been here, I go back and I remember that 15 game, 38-7, and it took you probably, you even said it took us 3 games to even bounce back from that.
Well, just the physicality, because it's such a rival, and both our teams play physical. Like, it's one of the things that Rathbone's teams are always going to come hard. They're not as big as teams will play. We're not as big as teams they play, but when we play each other, they go hard against each other. Even in 7-on-7, we go hard at each other. So they're going to be the physicality getting over that, and in a tough loss, especially a 38-7 loss. It took us, we slept through the next 2 games just with that jet lag from Page beating us up so bad.
And it's so important, you know, everybody looks at this, you know, when you play a team that's larger in a bigger classification, which you like to mention very often, you know, they're supposed to win, right? You know, I view this game as, I don't know that they are, because there's that rivalry takes away all the classifications in this thing. I really do. I mean, it's so close. The tail of the tape right here. It's so close, regardless if they're 6A, 5A, 4A.
Well, and what you can't see in that is in the 4th quarter when he's grabbing kids to throw in, and I've got that same 11 that I don't have that depth. And now I don't know what his depth like this year. You know, I don't get it. But in years past, his 2s are better than my 2s. And but here's the thing. I tell them all the time. I tell my team. I don't care if it's Ravenwood, Pay. I don't care who it is. I always got to deal with other coaches. They're only going to put 11 out, and we're going to put 11 out. So as long as my 11 can match up with that first 11, then I feel good about it.
Quantity-wise, Coach Rathbone, right now on your roster, how many kids you got?
Varsity, about 65.
And how many do you have?
Total 65, including freshmen and everybody.
So you could. So we had to have
how many freshmen do you have?
We had to have the caveat.
JV?
23.
Okay,
correct.
so he's got about 90 kids. I got about 60.
Regardless,
I'm saying it's
great
okay.
atmosphere, great game. Let me tell you, we have sold so many tickets in the last 5 since I've been here. I'm sure before. So many tickets this game. I mean, this is really a fantastic atmosphere. Game day is going to be there. The last game day we had at your place, it was so well attended. Of course, you got your media program, both media programs, Bob and Terry both do a phenomenal job. They get, you know, they both help on this project. So much fun. you know, we have to be careful. It's so funny. You mix those student bodies together, especially the cheerleaders. That's pretty. We have to be careful.
Yeah, maybe the rivalry is not as intense between the football players as it is the crowd.
There's not a lot of love lost there, man.
Yeah.
We have to be careful, you know. But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Of course, Shane does such an unbelievable production when he gets up on the game day. We put Kirk on notice. You have a new principal, Kurt
Jones. He's
Kurt
going to bring it.
Kurt Jones does a great job. He's going to have big shoes to fill. Dr. Oyer always had a plan of action. It's real good to watch those go at it. But it's going to be a great night. So let's talk real quick. 2017 season. Fairview, you finished 9-4, 5-0, repeated as Region 6 3A champions. You're going for the three-peat this year. All the pundits have marked you in as a three-peat champion already, saying that you're going to run through this region. You beat Stratford 27-20, Giles County 27-6 in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, then lost to Pearl Cone 41-7. Pearl Cone.
How much?
41-7. Is that inaccurate?
Man, I feel like it's closer than that. That sounds like a beatdown.
Pearl Cone's pretty good. That's respectable, man. It's the quarterfinals.
That's not respectable. 41-7 sounds awful. That's worse than Page beat us 2 years ago.
Well, Page 8-4, 4-2 in the Region 5 5A. You were runner-up behind Summit. Summit had the best year in school history last year. You beat Gallatin 27-21, then had the rematch with Summit 27-14. I believe you scored a touchdown. That score, I mean, you were right there within a score at one point in time, and then they scored late in the second round. Let's talk about region play right now. Region 6 3A, Camden, Cheatham County, Sycamore, Harpeth, yourself, and Stewart County. What is the outlook on this? I think Cheatham County and yourself, I can't pick a top 3.
I think Camden is reloaded this year. You know, they've got a good – Coach Blow's got more kids out. They're going to be really tough. Cheatham, Sycamore is going to be tough. I expect it to be like we've got to play to win those games, but all those predictions and everything on paper don't matter because you know how it is. You got to strap it on Friday and show it. But I feel good about our region games, and I feel like these games with Page and Ravenwood and Greenbrier gets us ready for our region games.
And I love those games. I love the Ravenwood game. I know you went into this last year very optimistic. Now you're trying to say, look.
You just enjoy it because it's the last one you're going to see
come
for a
on,
while.
man. I love it. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Look, you're going to have the Ravenwood crowd coming down this year.
No, they
first time in history.
They came last year. We're going there.
Oh, excuse me. You're going to Ravenwood. Your crowd's going to Ravenwood for the first time in history.
We'll travel to
play
Ravenwood.
Up there. I know you will. I think, look, and they're region champs, 6A region champs, repeat.
And picked to be in the state finals.
You know, I want to kind of jump in and kind of defend the Fairview athletes real quick.
Thank you.
Y'all played Ravenwood as well, correct?
Yeah, we're going to Ravenwood. But to be honest, the reason we play the Fairview game, you know, Coach Hughes and I, you know, we got a good relationship, and I respect him, and I feel like he respects me. But to be honest, Fairview has some of the better athletes that we have played. Last year, they were great athletes.
Darius James was the best back.
We didn't get to play against him.
That's right. I forgot. That was week 1. He didn't.
But if you take the quarterback they had, and I'm not going to try to say all the names, and they're linemen, Clevenger, they're a physical team. They're fast. They do things, get the ball to their players in space. I mean, it's a challenge. So, I mean, we can talk about 5A and 3A and all this, but ultimately it's about athletes.
Coach Hughes.
He's got Michael Burdick. He's got that.
You had a 6A back in a 3A. I mean, that dude could play anywhere.
Hey, he scored a touchdown in a scrimmage at Dodge City 2 weeks ago.
I just want you to know I've got in the mail right now my Dodge City football shirt coming.
Hey, Darius is doing really well there. You know, don't be surprised if he's not playing for Kansas or Kansas State in 3 years.
You know, that would be I would love to see that. Coach Rathbone, you also play Ravenwood. Of course, you're a 5A school now. Your schedule in the region in 5A looks like this. You got Columbia, Franklin County, Lincoln County, Shelbyville, Summit, White County, and yourself. 7 teams, 4 go, 3 go to the house. I've got you penciled in the top 3 with Shelbyville and Summit. Is that going to be accurate?
Well, if you go off of our scrimmages, you know, we got a lot of work to do, to be honest with you. I mean, I would think the top 2 is definitely Summit and Shelbyville in any particular order. Shelbyville's loaded with athletes. Summit, their system, Coach Coleman does such a great job. And I think you could throw everybody else in a basket and who develops and who plays the best on any particular night. You know, and hopefully by the end of the season we can get up there where we can challenge a Summit and a Shelbyville and give them a game, you know, and contend for one of those top 2 spots. And that's kind of our goal. I just think it's going to take us some time on the field, getting our inexperienced experience to jail.
Well, you got Grayson Trammell, if I'm not mistaken, is that his first name? Did I say that right?
Yep.
Coming back as quarterback at Shelbyville that broke the records last year. You know, you always got to know that that's coming with them. They're going to be high-powered offense. You got to be able to score with them. It's a track meet if you can ever get some stops. Now, here's the caveat to that. Michael Burdick in the backfield for you as a secondary player, one of the best household names right now. I've had a lot of coaches outside of your region in our conference, in the WCS Sports Conference, talk about how good they've seen Michael Burdick and think a lot of him.
Yeah, and he's a player. He's a ball hawk. You know, he's a guy that, you know, understands football. And in today's world, that's a rarity, guys that come in and really understand how to play football and the ins and outs of football. And he's a special player. You know, my concern is, and Cade Walker is going to be a special player, are we going to be able to block for those guys to get them the ball? And that, you know, ultimately, in my opinion, it always comes down to those front linemen and how good they're going to play.
So let's get straight into it. 2018, new rosters, new looks. Christian Harris-Luss, Darius James now graduated, as well as Tristan Mann, who was a great player for you.
Yeah, we're missing him bad.
Defensively for you, you know, and now you've got coming back Trey Bell, Cam Harris-Lusk. What are you going to look like? Let's talk offensive side of the ball first for both of you. Offensively for Fairview, Christian obviously, or Cam was the quarterback. Are you going to move him out? Are you going to move him around? What's his going to be?
He is not going to be playing quarterback. Brock Harris will be our quarterback tonight, and Cam will be playing a little bit of everywhere. So he'll be in slot, he'll be at wide, he'll be in the backfield. We're going to move him around and try to get a good matchup. We're going to try to stay away from Michael Burdick wherever he is. I feel like he single-handedly beat us last year. He had 2 huge interceptions, and one of them we were about to score. So we're going to make sure we're going to put a hat on him. He plays a lot bigger than he is, and we're going to try to make sure and not throw the ball to him. Because like Coach Rathbone said, he's a ball hawk. So, you know, trying to stay away. I don't let Rathbone know it's not a real strategic game plan. Just don't let Michael Burdick beat us by himself again. Take care of the football. But we lost Trey Bell right at the start of the summer. He has a season-ending injury. So that's a lot of our speed. We had to move some people around. Blake Russell's another senior that's going to have a really good year this year getting the ball. And I got a sophomore running back that's taking Darius's place called Logan Nardozzi, his brother Brendan.
I remember him.
Okay. And he's going to be our back. He's going to be the guy that totes the load for us this year. And we were going to split those carries between him and Trey, and Trey's not able to be there, and that just kills me for a senior not to be able to play his last season. And he was hurt last year, so he just had some bad luck. But we look good up front. That's the thing that I like. Coach Jackson's this is the first group he's had for all 4 years as an O-line coach and a strength coach, and we're bigger up front and better up front than any team I've had in the last 11 years.
Coach Rathbone, looking on your offensive side, you're going to have some holes to plug, just like everybody does this time of the year with new folks. What does it look like for you on the offensive side?
Well, our biggest concern is replacing the 4 of the 5 starters up front. We feel like we're solid in our slots. We got Miles Bond and Michael Burdick catching the ball, and we got a couple guys behind them that if they get some space, they can take it to the house. Our quarterback's solid. Cade Walker, who started the last 6 games for us last year. We got on the outside Nick Michelle, who's a big body, who's a former basketball player that will go get the ball.
Like 6'5", ain't he?
He's about 6'3", 6'4".
Who is that?
Nick Michelle.
Well, you had a 6'5" receiver as well last year, right?
We had 2.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Quade Lamont and Will Pierce.
Pierce, yeah.
Yeah, they both graduated, and it's hard to replace those 2. I mean, Will was a special player, but and so we're trying to work on our run game, our offensive line, and we think Quincy Bronk-Compton, he's got the possibilities of being more explosive in the backfield. He's got a little bit more speed. We got some young guys in our sophomore class that are pretty good too that could come in and fill some roles that we critically need them to do.
Well, when you throw out the offensive side, I want to ask before we go to defense, special teams. My favorite Battle of 840 game in the 5 years that been here came down to special teams for both of you, right? I saw one of the most clutch, deepest field goals made from the left hash from Brent Samaglia with about a minute to go in the game to take the lead or to tie it up.
Tie the game.
Kickoff, y'all get the ball, you come down. Jeffrey Perez kicks a 48-yard field goal as the time expires. Now, you're talking about special teams coming into this thing. Samaglia goes on. He's now at UT. I'm assuming with the Marshall County kid gone. Is he going to take over duties up there? Do you know yet of how he's going to work?
You know, he started doing it last year and he had a little injury, so I'm assuming that he will.
Okay. So let's talk special teams right now. What's in play for you guys special team wise?
You want to start?
Well, going back to that game that you talked about, I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about that the pass interference call. You know, where the pass hit the guy in the stands and all that stuff.
And
but anyway,
they threw the flag, right?
Yeah, they threw the flag and set up that. Yeah.
In position for the. I do remember
Paige
that.
is notorious for pass interference.
So I remember
That's
that.
a little home cooking at Fairview.
But
they gave him a couple hot dogs extra in the locker room after the game was over for that one.
I was upset with my cousin. It took him that long to do that. So.
we got a young man by the name of Chase Tidmore. You know, he's about 5'5", 140 pounds maybe, but he has a leg, and he's not quite like Fairview's guy getting it quite in the end zone, but he's getting it daggum close. And
it's a 2-yard line.
Yeah, I have all the faith in the world in that kid, and I think he'll do a really good job.
What year is he?
He's a junior.
Okay.
So I think he's going to do a really good job, and we got some young guys who are going to help on cover. I always worry about the coverage more than I do the kicks. I mean, because any special team where they could score on, that just scares the you-know-what out of me, and it's just and I hate that. So the last couple of years we've been blessed with kicking in the end zone every single time. You know, 2 years ago we lost Spring Hill. What happens? We kick it to the one. He returns it 99 yards for a touchdown. So I mean that you know.
One play. I mean, think about that.
It
changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah, momentum.
Being a region game at that point in time too, wasn't it?
It was second round of the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
That was the rematch, second round of playoffs. Yeah.
I mean, you think about that. I mean, you needed one extra yard to get a touchback and get your defense set, and that happens. It's
Dante Smith.
He's now at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
He's not a bad player.
Yeah.
Hard to corral.
Nobody can't return it if he kicks it a yard further.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It comes down.
No matter how good he is.
People don't think about that.
That's right.
You think about that from a coaching perspective. Two things come to mind. One is you remember that play vividly, just like I can go back to my last loss that I took as a coach, and you can replay it in your head thinking, if that kid would have just kicked it 1 yard further. I mean, that changed the whole – I mean, it's difference in the game. And you know, people don't even think about that. You know, well, you should have done something here. No, it came down to a yard, literally 1 yard.
And I tell my kids all the time, unfortunately, it's not about the kid, not about the plays that you make. You forget about those. It's the ones you don't make.
Right.
And those kind of haunt you.
Yes.
Special teams for you?
Skylar Wilson, who was a sophomore last year, soccer player, came out, wanted to kick. He'd been working with Jeffrey and went to camps all summer. He got the Nick Saban Award at the Alabama camp, and he is killing the ball right now for us. Now, he hasn't done it in a real game yet, but I'm expecting him to be able to be a big difference maker on special teams tonight on field goals, extra points, and on kickoffs. So that's good. And I like our returners, too. I don't know, how the return game is going to look because we haven't done a lot of stuff live yet, but I like how electric we are in the backfield. If we make one guy miss, we got a chance, and we've got some pretty good guys out front putting hats on people. So I'm excited about seeing if we can return the ball, if we can keep it out of the end zone.
Is this particular part of the game, I hate to use the word oversight, but it goes unnoticed or unrecognized a lot of times? That could be a game changer. I mean, we talk about your loss and how big that was, but
it doesn't with coaches. I think it does in the stands sometimes, but I think that Rathbone and everybody that's in coaching knows that a blocked punt or a bobbled snap or something like it, you can lose games from it. So it's about being clean and doing the little things. Like he said, covering up. We used to pooch all the time just because our coverage could get there and we didn't have to worry about returns.
What about the guy in Arkansas? Never kicks.
I like him.
Never kicks. Go for it. Yeah. Goes for it on every fourth down.
I want to revisit the pass interference call he was talking about. Not that, but Jeffrey. I don't know if Rathbone remembers this, but when we got down to about the 40-yard line, he called timeout, and I'm going to tell you, Jeffrey is one of the best kids I've ever had. He's a soccer player. He's not a real football IQ guy. He came over, and I was talking to him. And
we're trying to ice a kicker.
He was like, yeah. And Jeffrey looked at me and goes, and I don't know if I ever told you this, Coach Rathbone. He goes, why did he call timeout? and I
please
said,
tell me you didn't tell him.
No, look, I said, he might not have enough people on the field. I don't know. I said, are you going to hit this? He goes, oh, yeah, I hit this yesterday.
Now, what's the chances that ever happened?
Hey, look, but he was so calm. I was like, I don't know if he can hit this or not, but I sent him out. But he really didn't know why you called timeout. And that was something that.
That's a great story.
It is. And I wanted to tell Rathbone that because I know if he did that. Like Skylar, he understands the game. So when he does that to Skylar, Skylar's going to feel that pressure. Jeffrey had no clue. Kicked it through. Like everybody jumped on.
See, I was on the sideline. My special teams coordinator comes over and goes, "There's no way you can make this." I watched him warm up. There's not a chance.
Yeah.
As soon as he hit it, I turned to him and said, "Don't ever tell me anything."
Hey.
Anything's possible. Yeah.
Now, I'm not trying to add injury to insult, I promise, or insult to injury to you, Coach Rathbone, but you've literally lost 2 games on the yard because I'm telling you, I'm standing
It was barely
directly across at the crossbars to the point that you can't see both specifically. I'm standing there, I'm saying, all right, I'm going to watch this. The ball comes out, and I'm saying the whole time, there ain't no way this is going in. Ain't no way. It's got a chance. It's got a chance. And it literally, less than a yard, he could have hit the bar and gone back.
Well, I'd already prepared myself. We were at Fairview. He could have hit the school, and it would have been good out there. So, I mean,
the ref had his hands up before he kicked it.
Yeah, the referee was already going.
Hey, no, but if you look, that's the thing, and I was going to ask Coach Rathbone because it kills me. Like when Page beats us, look at the scores, 28-14, 38-7. When we beat Rathbone, 13-10, 21. It's been close.
No, there's a couple. There was one.
But
year,
what I'm saying
in your
is,
second year, you won 42-7.
Okay, but normally we barely.
That
wasn't him. Normally we barely win, and I don't know which is a tougher loss when you get beat by 30 or when you get beat by a field goal at the end. I mean, it's just none's good.
I can tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you. It goes back to probably the numbers like you spoke of. Now your numbers are pretty comparable this year, but I can go back and think of that year, that 38-7. They got on y'all early. And there was no coming back from that.
It
was just one of those things.
They beat us.
I think it was a mental thing. And, when y'all come in and win, maybe, I don't know, it's a good anomaly to look at.
It is.
That those games are close when y'all win, but when y'all win, it's pretty handily.
So that means if they're up 28-0 halftime, we're probably
so
not going to win.
So that means this year, the way I look at it, it's going to be a 2016 repeat, the way I look at it. So it's going to be a close game. If it follows suit, to be the tiebreaker between you three, it's going to come down to the wire. Special teams, once again.
Bottom line, the kids are going to decide.
My nerves can't take it.
I'm not, like he said, I mean, it's not a region game. It's a good test. We both want to win, but it's not going to define. We're still.
I don't care what you say. It's a fun game, and there's going to be thousands of people there tonight. It's going to be a great atmosphere. It's one of my favorites of the year. Matter of fact, it is trademarked. We should have trademarked the Battle of 840 because every time I hear anybody talk about it, media-wise, radio-wise, they say it's not Page versus Fairview in the Battle of 840. So we should have trademarked that.
Even our kids are saying that now. Like I don't say we're playing Page.
It's awesome.
Battle of 840.
You got to love it, right? Because it carries something to it, man.
Congratulations on that. You marketed that. Yes, you did.
Well,
you came up with that. Yeah, I didn't know. Did you come up with that?
That was all.
It's an awesome game. And for those that don't have a game to go to tonight, of course, we're all playing. We've got nine separate games going out. This is the only inter-rival game we've got going tonight. Pardon me, Centennial and Ravenwoods tonight too. But it's a really fun game. It's a really fun game. There's not a lot of 3A programs that have the attendance and the athletes that you have, so that brings a special part. You're going to have your first game ever on the turf. That's bringing in an additional X amount of people. You've got alumni coming in. I know that y'all will do a great job marketing it. I know that Shane will do a great job marketing it. Kurt, I can't wait to see them up on stage battling out on game day.
I got alumni coming to see their new turf.
So,
we got a lot of people coming to see their new turf.
It's going to be fun. I can't say enough about people going. All right, scrimmages. We've had 2 full rehearsals, if you will, dress rehearsals up to this point. We'll start with you, the opposing team. Coach Hughes, who have you scrimmaged up to this point? What's some pros we took out of those scrimmages?
Marshall County, Coach Osteen, and Antioch, Coach Head. We scrimmaged both of them, and starters just play a little bit. It's almost like a quarter of football basically, and I realize that we have some matchup problems in some areas, and then in others we don't. We're trying to find certain positions still, moving people around a little bit on defense and offense. So we hung with Marshall County and we hung with Antioch. It wasn't, both of those programs are larger programs too, so we're trying to get a good test.
Do you ever play anybody smaller?
Waverly, who's really good 2A.
They're nuts. Oh, they are 2A.
Yes, they are, and they're probably one of the better teams we play.
They did beat you last year too.
They
right?
did.
You're not supposed to lose that
triple
game.
overtime.
You talk about all these guys; they're not supposed to lose that game. You lost that game.
And I wasn't supposed to. I would agree with you.
You did have a big lead.
I would agree with you. No, we didn't.
That came down to something crazy.
Double overtime. I didn't go for 2, and they did. And they beat us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got to start.
I'm sorry to give you a hard time. I wanted to work that in there.
Coach McConnell, but that's the first time they got us, and then in the last 4 years, and they've been really good every year. But anyway, playing those teams gets you ready. Playing Page is going to get us ready for our region, and then I'm excited about it. We did fine in our scrimmages, but a scrimmage ain't a game.
Here's the pros that I look at. You went 9-4 last year. You went 10-0 the year before. Now, that looks great, and I love the fact that since 1978, that was the first undefeated team, right? You go 9-4 last year.
79.
79, excuse me, I missed it by a year.
That's okay.
You're glad that I knew that, though.
I was in school there.
Listen, 9-4 last year. You play Ravenwood, you play Page. For the first time, you go into the playoffs and you beat Stratford. You know why? Because you have not, prior to this, maybe you have or have not. Ravenwood would probably beat Stratford pretty handily. Would you agree with that statement last year, maybe? The athletes were comparable, if not better, at that 6A level. Now you've got people that you've already played. You're not going to see anybody better than Page and probably Ravenwood on your schedule until you get to
the second or third round of playoffs. Yep.
And you got over that hump last year. The year before that you went undefeated, you were close.
Went to the second round, but
right.
Didn't get to the third round.
And I'm just telling you, I think it pays off. So
I'm
not going to let you do away with those 6A games.
It does help.
All right, scrimmages for you, Coach Rathbone.
Well, we went down to Giles County. The biggest positive we came back with all of our players. Coach O'Connor didn't get to keep any of them. So,
wow.
That was that was Coach O'Connor. Me and him were good buddies. He knows.
Sounds like something that would come from him.
Wow, that's awesome. I give Rathbone the best line of the whole day. That's awesome.
Goodness.
Can I use that? Can I see him? I want to tell him that too.
Wow.
But they put it on us, and they put it on Marsh. Fairview put it on Marsh. So I don't want to hear it.
The word on the street is that they're the 3A team to beat, right? That's what the word on the street is.
Earl Cone is the 3A team
I
to
agree.
beat.
I'm saying that tongue in cheek. I agree. I agree with you. Go ahead.
Now Giles, they do have an athlete at receiver. We just couldn't hang with. But anyway,
Ziegler.
Yeah.
Tough.
And then when we went to Lipscomb, we improved quite a bit from our scrimmage at Giles going to Lipscomb. So we were much happier. We're still just. It's just, I guess being a coach, when something's just not right. It's just not clicking. And that's where we're at right now. It's just not clicking. We got to find what that is and make that correction, hopefully tonight.
Fairview will make it click for you. Yeah,
it's fair to say, though, this time of the year, not everything's clicking today.
No.
I mean, we're going to have a lot of something go on.
Well, we've got a lot of coaching turnover this year, I think that's quite a bit to do with it. Breaking in new offense, quite a bit to do with it. Some of those things. So, I'm sure that's,
It takes to week 5 or 6 to really figure out where everybody's place is. This is going to be one of those games where we find some things out, win or lose. We're going to know something about our team after tonight.
All right, we've got 30 seconds. Predictions. Who wins tonight?
You want us to pick?
Yeah.
No.
No, I'd rather ask you this. What are you going to be wearing? What color?
Brand new white uniforms.
You got brand new whites. What do you got?
Brand new red.
There you go, white versus red.
Good.
On the blue.
I like
on the blue.
Fastest show on turf tonight, 7 o'clock at Page. The Battle of 840 Fairview Yellow Jackets will be traveling all the way across Williamson County to the Page Patriots. It's going to be fun, guys. Thanks for coming on. It's always a pleasure. Until next time, until tonight, best of luck. It's been the Coach's Preview Show. We'll see you next time.
You're always trying to keep your kids safe, right? What about preventing concussion? Concussion can happen anywhere, on a sports field, at the park, even at home. So you need to know the ABCs. Assess the situation, be alert for signs and symptoms, and contact a healthcare professional. Most kids recover completely, but seek care to help them get better faster. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. Keep kids safe. It's as simple as ABC.